Hello and welcome to Hobby Vlog number 149. This week has been very busy with family stuff and there's been a bit of ill health, so I haven't had as much time as I hoped to do some hobbying, and also I've spent a dramatic amount of time, quite a lot of my time, when I have had a spare moment, working on Tawny and other software stuff for friends, which I'll talk about probably a little bit more in the coming week, so watch next week's vlog if you want to know a little bit more about the second project. And as such, I've just kind of refocused over onto that, which is also part of my creative endeavours and does impact on the hobby, because it's a tournament organisation website. Go and check it out if you haven't. So I have had some time to hobby with Rosie and do other few bits and pieces, so there are some clips for me to show you. I really hope that you enjoy them. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, I'll stop rambling now and let you enjoy the video. I'm getting ready for a little bit more hobby time with Rosie. She's been a bit sick today, this morning, but now she's really starting to feel a lot better, which is good. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be painting the dark grey to pick out these stones. However, being 3 years old, which I do need to keep reminding myself, she is not going to be neat enough to stay nicely within the lines and paint like I would be able to, and I wouldn't expect her to. So what I'm doing, as you can see, is very carefully masking off around each of the shapes, so that she can come along and have fun, and she doesn't have to even think about that, because she's just too young to have to worry about that sort of thing right now. Staying in the lines is something that she can learn when she gets a bit older. So yeah, so I probably won't mask every single bit of this off, and depending on how well this goes, because this has taken me ages, I might do quite a bit of this myself another time as well. So I'm not promising that all of this was going to be done by Rosie. I may do some painting on my own, but I'm certainly going to mask this one, and I'm going to try and mask that one as well, so that when she comes up after when she's ready in a little while, we have some good hobbying set to do, and she can have fun, because that is what it's all about. So yeah, it's a bit laborious process, but it's going to look nice when it's done. And at the end of the day, the purpose here is to have fun with Rosie. There we are. And encourage her to have a go at things that she might think she can't normally do. But staying in the lines, staying as accurate as these require, is definitely not something I'm going to ask of her. So yeah, I'll carry on with that, get this masked off the next one, and I'll turn the camera back on when we're about to start painting. Right, I have just spent I don't know how long masking that and also this off, but it's done, and Rosie has joined me, and you're very, very excited to get involved. But what we're going to be doing, and I'll just quickly show you, you're going to get a little bit of black, a little bit of the dark grey, and you just want to paint it as carefully as you can, do you see? Yeah. Between the lines. And I'm going to try and do it without masking, so let's see if that's a stupid mistake. And what we're doing here is we're picking out the bricks in the stones, and this is going to take quite a while, particularly if I have to mask lots. So just paint, 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 that's it. Very good. Try and go for a bit of a drier bit, not the wetter bit, because we want to have this quite a strong colour. We don't want it to be so watery as we did the light grey. That's it, good girl. Keep going, just keep painting. It's masked, so you don't have to worry about going outside the lines. You can paint like this if you want to. Wow, you are doing very well, keeping in the lines. Absolutely fantastic work, love. So yeah, so I'm just going to paint this, and Rosie's...
Paint that.
You can paint that if you want to. You can paint it all, but that won't do anything because there's masking over it. I'll peel that off. You want to paint between the yellow lines, between the yellow bits. If you because the thing is we painted it. You see what we painted the walls light grey, and what we're now doing is we're painting these kind of like bricky bits dark grey. That's what we're doing. So anyway, look at that. She is doing so well. Good girl. Keep going.
No, it's your turn to do that.
Well, I'm doing this one, so you keep doing all the ones I masked off for you, and I'll do the ones that aren't masked, because it was taking me hours to mask, so I've masked quite a lot for you to do. That's exactly what you should do. Just kind of get some paint and slap it over. There we are. Good girl.
Painting.
That's very good going. And I'm going to try and do it without masking, like I say. Very, very good. You're doing it perfectly. You can go a little bit more up to the edges if you want. Perfect. Missed a bit of masking there, never mind. That's it, yep. And try and pick up more paint than water, so take it from up here where it's drier. Do you see? So go, let me get some paint on your brush. Right, now go for it. You see it's a bit darker? That's what we want for this. We want it to be a bit darker. So maybe go over these again a little bit. Do them again with a little bit more paint. Perfect.
I like some getting water. I like
You don't need water. We want it to be a darker colour. So you're actually fine. Just get a little bit more paint on your brush. That's it. And now paint over the top again.
This one.
No, do these. There's a little bit more paint needed up here.
I like that one.
Well, I need this brush because I'm painting without masking, you see. Well, you have this one. No, you can't have this one because I need it to paint with mine without masking. Here we are. Get some more paint on your brush. That's it. Very good. There we are. And that's it. Slap it on. Good girl. Nice and dark. There we are. Nice and dark. Good girl.
I need to see the end of it.
Well, you will be able to. When it's dried, we'll peel all the yellow off. And then you'll be able to see what you've painted. So that's good. So now you can do this one if you want. Same thing.
No.
Same thing. Just paint all of the bits which isn't yellow. Keep going. You've nearly done it. That's it. Good girl. Do you want me to do the rest? Well done, you've done very well, Rosie, good girl. It's been a while since I've touched this, but in that time I've finished painting up all of the associated spaceships that I wanted on this diorama. So I've got the two kind of transports or whatever that are going to be a lot supposedly force perspective far away. I've got the little fighter ships, and then I've got the big one here as well. So I'm currently debating how I'm going to go about doing the base. Probably the first thing I'm going to do is paint PVA and seal it on both sides to try to prevent a warp. See if that works. But what I'm looking at now, first of all, I want to do that while I'm doing that, and while I'm preventing the warp, trying to work out how I'm going to actually position things. And what I'm thinking is I'll have these coming in at an angle like this, so it will look like you've got a little bit of a fighter defensive cordon around the transport, and then at the back I'll have these slightly suspended above, one slightly higher than the other, probably the one at the back lower. The thoughts I've got for the base once I've sealed it is either just matte black, but what I'm thinking I might do is try to do something that looks like a smeary kind of like moving, so just do lines and smear it all together. So yeah, it's nice to have done this. I only finished these last week, so they've been that's what I was waiting for. So having finished everything here, and I'm going to crack on and try and get this done. So the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, is seal the base. So I'll just get PVA, paint it over, let it dry, turn it over, and then paint the other side. And then once that's done, I will start to position these ships. So I'll bring you back once I've finished doing the sealing, and we'll look at how we're actually going to mount them, because I do have some quite cool ideas for this. And I really hope they all work out. I had a lot of fun painting this up. Just finished it now, just in the 22 minutes this evening. And what I'm going to do now is stick it just down to this little base here, which is actually a blank that I've saved from an MDF kit. No point in wasting things, is there? So I've had a few of them, so I saved it, and it's going to be a perfect size to do a nice little base for this. So all I'll do is I'll glue it down with some PVA now, and then tomorrow morning, or sometime during the day tomorrow hopefully, I will put some texture around it, and then that'll be done. So yeah, really cool thing, really pleased I got it done. And old Guardian's a talented old man, isn't he, to make this. So yeah, really good. mostly with contrast, a little bit of Vallejo as well, but mostly contrast, and yeah, very quick, and it's turned out great. Right, so I've sealed both sides of this, so hopefully we're not going to have the warping issue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come along with this light green, and I'm just going to paint that over all of this. I probably will come along and mask it and paint the fronts black and the sides black just to give it a little bit more framing. But the purpose of this is to give the basis colour over which I'll paint lots of streaks and stripes and all sorts. But I'm going to let this base colour dry, and then I'll come in and do some wet blending over the top for all the other colours I want to do. This will dry very quickly. Might need 2 coats, not sure. What's that blackness come from there? Oh, there's a hole in the wood. Oops. Yeah, so I'll just get this painted over green, and then as soon as it's dry, we'll come along and do the rest of the details on this. Hopefully, as I say, this isn't going to warp. But alien planets can be green as well, can't they? Who's to say not? Oh, fine. Oh. Stupid thing. Well, I've finally finished painting these two. Relatively happy with how they've come out. I mean, I'm no master painter, but quite happy with the Conan style character. So what I'm going to do now is start to put together the skeletons, and I've looked a bit closer than the last time I looked at them, and I actually think they're not quite as easy to make a mistake as I thought, because they've actually got little square bits that sit in, so you can see that goes in and you can't turn it. There's a little bit of tidying up that needs to be done. If you have a look on this one here, you can see just at the base of the spine there's some tidying up to be done there. There's a little bit of flash on that as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean these up, going to glue them together, prime them and get them painted as well, which shouldn't take me too long. And I'm also going to go and prime the base as well. I'll use blue tack to fill in the bits where we're actually going to be going to have to glue things down, because you don't want to put paint where you're going to put glue. But yeah, that's not going to take me very long to do. So I'll get these primed and painted up, and then I can finally start to assemble. But I'm pretty pleased that I've got these painted up okay, and I'm pretty happy that now I've looked at the at how the skeletons go together a little bit more closely. They're actually a bit easier than I thought they were at first glance. So yeah, getting there. That's really, really cool. I'm looking forward to putting this one on the wall. Well, had another delivery today, another thing that I'll probably just put on the shelf and not look at, but I'm pretty excited about it. It is Vaesen Nordic Horror Role-Playing. Look at those dice. They're very light though, don't weigh that much. This is a Kickstarter. Let me drag this all out of the box. No wonder that weighed a lot. That is a solid book. So we have 2 cloth mats. We have one of the expansions, the GM screen. We have, look at that, some art to frame and put on the wall. That's cool, so we'll do that. Maps and handouts. So this is from the Free League, Freilagen, which I have lots of their stuff now. It's always beautifully produced and it's really, really cool. I do try to support them a lot. Yeah, it's set in Britain. It's a role-playing game set in mythic Britain and Ireland, which is pretty cool. And now the bit that you've been waiting for. Let's see what kind of new book smell this comes with. That is a strong new book smell. God, that's good. So yeah, this is the core rulebook. Beautiful artwork, look at that. I mean, you'd buy this, and if you could have bought 2 copies of the core rulebook and just cut the pictures out and frame them. Absolutely fantastic artwork. There we are. So that's the core rulebook, and then we've got another expansion. That's wrapped, so I won't open it for now. And another one, Seasons of Mystery. Yeah, they do have good new book smells. And another thick book. What's this? It's another expansion, goodness me. They've actually got a Kickstarter running right now, new league, free league, I think. I think I'm backing it. I normally do. But there we are. Beautiful artwork. Be checking out that. And we've got one deck of cards. This box contains 33 high quality custom cards, 10 initiative cards and 23 Vaesen cards. So we'll find out about that. I will leave the ones that are shrink wrapped, keep them safe. I will send that over to get framed. You know what, I'm going to get these out. So give me a second to unwrap these two cloth things and I'll see if I can get them on camera. I've had to go shaky cam because they're quite big, but they're amazing. So we've got two maps here. We've got, first one is the Mythic North, which is Scotland, obviously. And then over here we've got the full map of Mythic Britain and Ireland. So there we are. No, the Mythic North I think is actually the like Denmark, and that's Denmark. No, it's not. Yeah, it's Denmark. It's not Scotland at all. So that's Denmark and Sweden, I presume, and all those sorts of countries, the Nordic countries. And this is Britain and Ireland. But they're just absolutely stunning. I mean, they're just beautifully done. That's going to focus in there. Yeah, Giant's Causeway there. And there's my favourite place, Isla. Right, so glad that arrived. I'll wrap those back up, put them back in their plastic to keep them safe. And hopefully, who knows, one day I might even get a game of this. I've finished filling. And I came up with a really nice way of doing it, actually. Put some of the filler on. And you could probably do this with like a wipe or with a slightly damp towel, but I've been using my finger, as you can see. And you just put it on and then just very quickly afterwards you wipe it down, and that gives you a really nice smooth finish. Now some of these aren't very smooth just because I didn't make it very well, but I'm not worried about that. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of these awesome sanding blocks that I got sent by Stubby Dragon, and I'm going to sand down that filler, which I'll do tomorrow. I'll let this all dry now, and then finally I can start to paint. I better prime this and then start to put some paint on, which is absolutely superbly. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. Very excited, not least because once I finish this I'm going to start on an SR71 Blackbird, which is my favourite plane, and I have an awesome diorama to do for it, but that's by the by, nothing to do with this build. I'm very excited to get this done and get this on the wall as well. So anyway, yeah, sanding next. I'll bring you along when I get to it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply a base material to this. So this is just normal builder's sand. I've not sieved it or sifted it at all. I want this to be quite a rough base. I don't actually want to drip any glue into the bucket, so let's just apply the glue off camera. There we are. So I've got a load of glue, and what we're going to do is that. Wait a second, and then just let it drop off. And you can see that has given me really quickly a really nice texture. So I'll let that dry. I might just knock the bits on the edges off, so I don't want those. So I'll let that dry, and then what I'll do is I'll paint the same glue over the top to seal it. Yeah, that's done there. So I've had a look at this and decided to glue it all together. And as you can see, I've managed to get the two legs in. And I did that by first of all gluing in this leg here, which does have a very obvious place to put it. And then once that was secured, I kind of held the skeleton body in place and worked out roughly where this leg should go. And there is a very small divot there as well, so that's glued in nicely. So what I'm now going to do, and this has gone together really sweetly actually, is I'm going to put a little bit of super glue in each of the sockets. And it's just going to be a case of standing for a minute or so, hopefully no more, while it goes off. Now if you're impatient, then you could clearly get some accelerant, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be patient, I think. So it sits in, and I'm trying to do this without getting my hands too much in the way, but it sits in quite nicely. I've done it a couple of times without glue, and you should just be able to kind of slot it in. And if we look at what the angle is, the little kind of like peak of his hat, his helmet needs to be pointing roughly upwards. So maybe a little bit further forwards than that. There we are. And now we're just going to have to hold and wait for that to go off. Well, yesterday I did some sanding and then totally forgot to film because it was so quick. I'm really, really pleased with how it's come out. So good and easy to use. And then I started priming. So I primed the top, haven't done the bottom yet. Probably going to do another coat on the top and then do the bottom as well. I'm priming with a brush, using just with a normal paintbrush, and I'm not disappointed. There's a few streaks, but it's not so terrible. I've managed to get it really, really good in this spot, so I'm going to just do another coat and hopefully that will resolve it. In no way is this going to be a pro level model. I am not a pro level scale model builder. I need to have a lot more practice to get good. But hey, I'm very pleased with how it's looking, and it's really nice to be making progress. So yes, I'm going to keep priming that, and I'll bring you back when it's finished priming. I'm about to start painting, which is cool. I'm also wondering whether, once I've primed it, whether I might paint the inside of these and then do the undercarriage and then carry on from there. And also there's a few little bits that I've not put on yet on the top, which I also think I should stick on. So there might actually be a little bit more assembly to do before I start properly painting, but I'll bring you along when I come to try to make that decision. But for now, I'm pretty happy with how that's come along. Well, there we are. As I said, a shorter week, but still a fair amount done. Quite a few different projects. It's nice to get back to that particularly old one that I've not done for ages, which is the drop shape diorama. It's nice to be working on that. I've just been pottering away painting it for so many months, and now finally got it done. The other thing to say is I have ordered some more resin, so the late build will be continuing as soon as that arrives. Hopefully it gets here soon, and that's also quite exciting for me. Yeah, look out for that. Anyway, if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and if you watched any of the video, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. I really find myself inspired by seeing the comments, and well, I don't get many views, but the number of views I get is wonderful to me. So yeah, thank you ever so much, every single one of you. Really appreciate it. I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, if any of you are directly or indirectly impacted by the horrendous war in Ukraine, though there's been a bit of better news this week, so fingers crossed this horrible war can be finished, and people can go back to their normal lives soon. Well, my thoughts and my heart goes out to anyone out there who is impacted, or who, if someone you know is, then yeah, just horrendous. And to everyone, please do stay healthy, stay safe, and stay well.